regretting all of the times when life was too hard. You taught us to pray to our God. Told me that we will be fine one day. But I felt the pain, it lived in your eyes, all in your voice. Still put a smile on our face. How could you take this? We came from nothing. Still had us dreaming, fame and the money.
All right, guys. So tonight we are here at the Beehive Dallas podcast studio. We have here with us the one and only. Well, I want to make sure I introduce you correctly because you have made some changes to your name. So what would you like for us to call you?
You can call me T-Chap. It don't matter. Or you can call me Thomas Chapman. A little bit of backstory behind that. The only reason why I chose Thomas Chapman to be for my name is the reason of what happened to my dad growing up. Like, everybody know in my family that's close to me, my dad was in prison at a very early age for me when I was in 3rd grade. And basically that carried weight on me from my entire life on. Like, a lot of my teachers expected me to do the same thing. And some family members also expected me to follow in that same path.
Sometimes they do that,
yeah. But it is what it is. So I want to try to shed a bright light on that name because I'm a junior. And, you know, they say the apple don't fall far from the tree. And some apples are good when they hit the ground. It doesn't matter, you know. Like, it doesn't matter.
I feel you there. So that brings me to my first question, Thomas, is what inspired you to write this song? Because I know the name is Flawed. So that's such a deep name. And so, elaborate on that.
You know, it's basically being able to have this type of, like, front row seat to a hard upbringing. Like, seeing my mom go through all the struggles that she went through year after year, man after man, you know, and I gotta sit here and try to accept these strangers, you know, and watching the toll that they eventually take on my mom and seeing her fight through all of that, like us not having a great house to live in, not having the most amazing clothes and shoes as every child wants. You know, we all want that swag, like, especially because you go to school and then you realize, like, oh wow, there's a different way to this, and then kids eventually pick on you.
Yep. So kids are not the nicest. They are honest. They tell you how they feel.
Exactly.
And a lot of times they just don't know. They don't know that, you know, oh, maybe this kid is struggling, or maybe this kid, his home isn't as nice. So definitely. And so with that being said, what is the overall message that you are getting across in this song? You mentioned, like, your upbringing, your relationship with your mother and that dynamic. So what is your message?
Well, my message basically is pretty straightforward. Like, you can be in the most ridiculous situation ever, you know, for a long, extensive period of life. But it doesn't matter how long you stay in that. All that matters is how you get out of it.
Right,
like, can you persevere? Like, can you dig deep and find strength in your body? Of course you can, you know, if you never quit. Like, and that's exactly who I am. And that's, you know, what happened to my dad made me a better father. Like, when I finally had a baby, you know, and it made me, like, look forward to being there, being that role model.
Yeah, and that's amazing that, you know, you took that and you went in a positive direction, because a lot of people don't. A lot of people take that and use that as an excuse to, like, you know, spiral downwards and out of control. So it's very, very, very bold and very inspiring and encouraging. So I think that's a great message that our youth need right now, even our young adults and even the older people. Like, you know, a message of perseverance and not giving up, like, no matter what, you know, as you're saying, what cards were dealt to you that you had no control over, but you do have control over, like you're saying, the choices. So with that song, you mentioned your mom, like, and the things you went through. So, like, you were talking about that a little bit, like, you know, the things you witnessed and the things your mom went through. Like, how do you think that really helped you put, like, with your lyrics in your song, like, convey that message? Like,
it's tough, man, because when you look back, all the emotions start to resurface.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the flashbacks make more sense that now that you're older, you start to see things that, you know, it kind of came and went at the time. But now it's like, all right, I actually went through that, and it's kind of traumatizing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
a lot of us live through trauma that we don't expect, and it hits you at various times in your life. Like you can be sitting there having a good time, but then boom, that flashback hits you, and it's like, dang, that happened to me. And so you gotta try to fight through it, because you know there's always a exit, an outcome as long as you breathe, you know. And that's where I'm at.
Man, that's deep, man. So like when you in that moment, what do you do to get you through that? Like you're mentioning, when you have that flashback or that trigger, like what has helped you get through that, where you continue making positive strides with your life?
You know, a lot of it is solely relied upon my surroundings. Like I wake up and see babies, my babies. I see my wife, you know, I see my home, and I'm like, I'm not there anymore where I used to be. So why allow the feeling to keep me down when happiness is everything I need, you know, everything I have? Man, I ain't trying to get too emotional.
No, it's all right. You want to be real. You want to keep it real. I understand. You know, I understand where you're coming from.
But it's tough.
Yes. And people need to see that and know that they're not alone. And that's what I love about this song is, you know, you're not alone. You're not the only person that's going through that, the only person that's been through trauma, because it's not meant for us to go through things like that, because it does change you. It does affect you. But it's good to see that someone who's been through that can come out of that and not let that define them. Or like you said, you mentioned earlier, your teachers and everyone kind of like, oh yeah, that's such and such song, you know,
it was
son.
tough.
So so now you can walk and go, yeah, I'm such and such son, and this is who I am, you know. And so that is what I think is really powerful with your song, because we're all flawed. No one's perfect. Nobody's perfect.
It's impossible to be perfect.
I mean, if you perfect, then I need to talk to you. You know, I haven't seen a perfect person in my life.
Perfect people are robots. That's true.
Yes. So let's get back here. So in the song, okay, so you talked about your children and the importance of being there for them. So what inspires you to be a great father? Oh
man, I lived it, of not having my dad, having a stepdad that doesn't love me, like, because I'm not his baby, you know what I mean? Like, that's tough. And a lot of people will go through that, and you see families fight all the time because a stepdad is in the mix, and some of them feel like, hey, my mom doesn't hear me anymore because she wants that man to be around. And you know, that's pretty hard for a child to have to feel that. And then on top of that, like, you go to school and then you feel that hate at school, and you feel lack of support from teachers and other students that look just like you. You know, and going through the same situation. But they using that opportunity to escape their life too, and it all piles down on you as an individual. And so that's tough, man. You have to fight through that stuff.
What would you say to like the moms who may have this, you know, stepfather in their life for their children, the things that they should look out for and the healthiness? Because sometimes I think maybe people may not realize, like, you know, that this toxic relationship is going on. So like, what would you say to a woman when it's a blended family, like the things to just be mindful of?
Well, from a male's perspective, I would say just be, you know, more aware of your child's behavior that they show towards that man. You know, the emotion they get when that man walks in the room, you know, when he comes home from work. If your child's demeanor changes and they're like really saddened, then that should be some questions you're asking him, you know, about his interactions with that baby. Or, you know, ask your baby some real tough questions and believe the answers. Like, because a lot of women don't believe what they're being told, and it bites them in the long run. But you have to be willing to ask and believe and be that listener.
The truth hurts sometimes, but the truth really does set people free. And so that's really important, guys. It's like to to be aware. That's what I'm hearing. To be aware and to look at what's going on in the home so you can have that healthy balance.
It's big.
Yeah.
It's big. You got to do it.
And so let's see this. So basically, how did you navigate like being a father, being a great husband without having an example?
You know, I was pretty lucky, man. Well, I'm going to say blessed to have bumped into a few more role models that really spoke some light into my life, like Mr. Melvin, you know, Pastor Dennis. Well, Pastor Melvin, shall I say. He's a pastor now. But, you know, those guys saw me at an early age, like my teen years, you know, when I was in the streets.
A work in progress.
Like, This church was the last thing on my mind. I'm gonna tell you that. And you know, but they showed me a new path to life. They showed me that you can have a house, a wife, and children, and a job, and the car that you want.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, it's still possible.
Yeah.
And like, and it was great because it came from a man that showed and lived the same examples of what he was teaching me. You know, so I was very receptive.
That's good. And that's key. Like you just said there, you were very receptive. Some people are like, I don't care. This is what I'm feeling. Yeah. So that's key.
You got to get past the feelings. the emotions are the strongest things, right? The devil, they pull you.
Yes.
They pull you hard.
And so with that being said, you're also showing the importance of community and having those role models and figures. So I think it's a great thing that you are now a great role model for other young men to see.
I hope so.
I mean, you're living it, you're doing it, you're creating your music, you're being a great father, a great husband. I mean, your family is one unit. You guys are strong. So I mean, that's something to be very
thankful.
Yes, to hold your head up, you know, because that's amazing, especially in a time now. Like our people really need to see that this is something we can have. Like you said, this is something I can have.
Exactly.
Because sometimes
it's not
people
impossible.
Don't think it's for them.
Yeah.
So, you know, I used to think of that too. You know, like I don't know, but it's for everybody.
Exactly.
For everybody to be blessed and have a great life. So it's good that you tapped into that.
Yeah.
So, like 2 questions. You mentioned a little bit about how tough it was, like with clothes. You know, you didn't get to get all the name brand things. You know, you didn't realize it. Like the same thing for me. You don't realize it until you go to school and you're like, oh, you don't dress like this. You know,
exactly.
So how was it growing up? And you also said you mentioned about never forgetting where you came from. So the importance of that.
Oh, the importance of it?
Yes, the importance of that.
Oh, that's very important. Like I look at my living situation now, and I'm like, I never want to go back to that. Like, no offense to the people who are still in the struggle, because hey, every situation is different.
Yeah.
But once you make it out of something like that, it should be a big part of your motivation. I'm not gonna say the entire part of your motivation, but it should be a big part. Like, you should be able to look back and say, that life is never for me. Never going to be for me again.
Yes.
And I refuse to put myself in situations that make me go back to that. I refuse to change my lifestyle in accordance to how I was then. It's like, what's the point of growing and becoming a better individual to then withstand in the same what they call them, habits.
Oh,
like,
my goodness.
Yeah,
that's key. That's key. It's like you see that I can have this life.
Yeah. Even
though I am flawed, I don't have to stay stuck somewhere. And then the key thing was a lot of it wasn't your choice.
Yeah,
you were a child that was innocent, and you had to live with what you had to live with.
No choice.
But you made a choice when it was your choice, you know, to do what's right, to happen. Like you said, every decision you make brings you to where you are today.
Exactly.
Which brings you right here on this podcast, talking about your song Flawed. That is awesome. It's like one of your popular songs on your playlist of Spotify. I know we listen to it all the time, home,
appreciate
back
that.
home. Yes.
Thank
and
you for the love.
Yes, it's very powerful, very powerful. I also want to elaborate on what would you like to tell your mom if she was here at this interview? Because in the song, it was very powerful when she said you can go and get it, you know, like don't give up. So what would you tell your mother right now?
You know, I would say thank you for not being that mom that just didn't care. You know what I mean? Like, you see it all the time where we from.
Yeah.
Parents who just, all right, whatever. You go live your life. Mm-hmm. And however you get through it is how you get through it. Mm-hmm. Like, my mom made every situation work. She made every situation work.
Yeah.
Like, every situation. She found a way to make it seem like it wasn't as bad as what it feels like and what we see. Mm-hmm. And that was really empowering to me. Like, every time I look at her, I'm just like, you are such a strong individual.
Yeah.
Like, she's stronger than she realized.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and she's a big part of my inspiration. Because I know I was that kid in the background looking at everything she went through. I know. And I would just say thank you, and I would hug her and try everything in my possibility to help her out of those situations that she's in right now.
Yeah.
Which is gonna come. It's gonna happen. So, you know, keep hope alive, Mom.
Yeah. I will say, if you guys don't know by now, we're family. But the last time she was here visiting, she let me know just how proud of you that she is. Like, she is so proud of you. We went out. We were supposed to go to the spa. Yeah. And we were looking for bathing suits, and this lady came across, and she was so proud to tell her about you and who you are and what you do. She made sure she wrote your name down. Trust me, she made sure she did that and look up your songs and everything. Like, she is so supportive, and she believes in you. And just imagine how proud she is, like you said, for the things that she's been through and gone through, to see that the fruit of her labor, you know, like, even though we're all flawed, you still are doing great things with your life and leaving behind a legacy that she is so proud to have come forth from her, you know. So I would definitely say big. Yes, a legacy. Like, you're leaving a legacy, like that name, Thomas Chapman Jr. Like, you're just making it something great, you know. And that your daughters, like, they're so sweet, you know, full of personality. But they know that they're babies. Yeah, and it's so important for the girls to have that father in their life. Yeah. And you're doing it. You're doing it, and you're showing that no matter what your background, no matter where you come from, who you are, you can do it. Where you can be this great impact in your atmosphere, your sphere, the sphere of your atmosphere. Like, wherever you go, like, you influence.
It's because I wanted all that.
Yeah.
When I was a baby, well, growing up when I was a young kid, and you finally start to understand a little bit about life. I wanted all that. Yeah. And so when I see my babies, I give them everything, all that feeling. Like, I make sure I tell them every day, like, there is no such thing as limitations. Like, you can be whatever you want to be, baby. Just make sure it's something positive and that people can look back on and say they got a big part of life from you that helped change something in their life.
Oh yeah.
Like, 'cause come on, man. We're all human. We all make mistakes. But the biggest thing is to love yourself through your mistakes as well as you love yourself when you're up. You know, because people go through life and they get caught up in that high. Like, I'm here, I'm having a great time. But when you down, you forget about who you are a little bit or a lot of bit. And people, I don't want that for my babies, man. Yeah. I want them to know that you can get through any tough situation. You can become great. You can become amazing. Whatever title you want to put on it, just don't put no limitations on it.
That's amazing. That's powerful. And I know, and the great thing is they get to see someone live it. They get to see their dad live it and not just say it. Yeah. You know, that's a big thing, is for you to live it, because your kids are like, yeah, I see you. Because they do watch you. Like, they watch you and they're amazed and they're proud. They don't doubt.
Oh, they my biggest fans.
Yeah,
I'm in that studio. I can't keep them out of there.
Yes, there's a cute little clip of one of his babies doing a little rap with him. I thought it was just so prophetic and so beautiful. Like, she was just doing her little thing, and she was so confident, and she was like, I sound good. I know I sound good, but yes, so keep it up, keep it going, and like, oh, speaking of my brother, keep it up, keep it going, and keep just building that legacy, because that's one big thing for me is the legacy. And your mom fought, she passed the baton to you, and you're the only male in your home, your household, and you're paving that way. Yes, you're paving that way. It's something powerful when the man takes their place, like, you know, as a leader. Not saying that girls can't lead or anything, but
women are powerful.
Yes, but it's something about when a man is like confident and they know who they are, and they're not ashamed of who they are or ashamed from where they come from, because that actually creates who you are, your character. Like, it's bad. Some of the stuff was bad, but that was part of the process. Yeah, you know. So, okay. So we're just gonna wrap that up today. And okay, go ahead.
Well, if you guys haven't heard the song, I need y'all to look that up. Flawed.
Yes.
Type in Thomas Chapman. Like I already told y'all, while I go by that name for my music, it's a big reason. So just type in Thomas Chapman on every streaming platform that you like listening to music on, and you'll see all my singles that I got.
Yes. Yeah. Check it out. Check it out, guys. It's great music. Make sure you hit that follow button on Spotify so you will be notified whenever he adds anything new.
Exactly.
Also, check him out on YouTube. Is it the same name on YouTube?
It's actually T-Chap on YouTube.
Okay, T-Chap on YouTube. Check him out. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you get all the notifications and alerts, because he is doing great vlogs of just him creating his music. So you get to join the journey. You get to see the process. So check it out.
Appreciate that. Thank y'all for having me.
Thanks for coming by. And maybe next time, guys, at the Beehive Dallas Podcast Studio.